Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Wednesday, March 17th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am live. Yay! Lots of things going on, lots of announcements to tell you about. We are a very active group. Got a lot of things coming up tomorrow, coming up in the next couple weeks. So tomorrow is Ruth Sanderson at 7 p.m. of course, during our normal Central Time. And she will be here to visit. She puts out copious amounts of beautiful books. And you will certainly enjoy her. Then Tuesday, March 23rd, also at 7 p.m. We've got Melba Carter coming in, and we are so looking forward to her. She has been an art instructor, great with acrylics, and you'll enjoy her as well. And then Thursday, March 25th, is Jeff Haney, also an illustrator, coloring book artist, and we are going to be do another duet coloring side by side, just like we did with Dawn Boyer. So yay. Lots and lots of stuff going on. Welcome to everybody that's dropping by. Welcome to everybody that's up in the balcony watching. Love you guys too. I hope you're enjoying watching everything. And this piece that I'm working on right now is the piece that I was working on with Dawn. And I'm just finishing up a couple of touches that I wanted to add. Now, what I did here is I had put marker on this. It was the simple Sharpie marker, and it got a little streaky. So what you need to do is you just go ahead and take a black pencil, zoom in, and go ahead and go over that area, and everything will smooth out beautifully. Now you can't really use your brush on this, or shouldn't, because you need to get all that little pencil residue that's coming up. I can see it, you probably can't. So as I'm putting this on here, I'm just rubbing in any residual. And we're getting a nice, smooth, velvety look. All right. And that would be Vicky saying hello. All right. Now, as I'm working on this, you can see that that is getting smoother and smoother. And Wanda, I saw your comment. Also, if a couple of other people, yeah, Ronnie says much better, good. I don't know what that flickering was, guys. Okay, so again, I'm using the side of my pencil. And we're getting a really nice, smooth finish here. So since I've gone this far with it, let me go ahead and finish that. And Melissa, thanks again for coming on camera and letting me test the headset. I so appreciate you guys when you're willing to do that. I know you guys get embarrassed about popping on and your hair and makeup and all that stuff, but I mean, like, really? Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know if it's my computer, but, you know, I'm looking into everything. Okay. Okay. I think it's the internet, actually. Spectrum's been having problems. Okay. Zoom out. All right. Now, what I want to show you guys is how I added the reflection lines in my mirror. Or not mirror, I'm thinking mirror. And all you need to do is take your blue and go ahead and draw your diagonal lines. I'm upside down. And you don't need very many. And you don't need to be very harsh with them. You want to just be very, very soft. And what you want to do is zoom in. Is even go over whatever the image is. In this case, this design. And that way you'll get that realism. All right. Zoom out. So this is pretty much the finished piece for mine. And the only other thing I may play with just a little bit is the edging on the outside here. But I'm pretty happy with that. We've got a nice dimensional look. And then what I'm going to do is just take my eraser and just erase any of my smudge. So that's just a little bit of cleanup. Cleanup on aisle 4. And we'll go ahead and you'll see how great this background looks. I was so tickled with Dawn last night. That was so much fun having a duet coloring. And thank you for all the comments from everybody that you guys enjoyed when I did that with an artist. All right. So I'm pretty happy with this. And I think it turned out well. But again, and I tell you this, and Dawn, don't compare work to mine. I don't compare my work to you. Oh. Okay, by tint the first page, someone, blah, blah. That's the first time I have seen someone tint a complete page first. Okay, I didn't do this first. It was the last thing that I did. Oh gosh, the center of the flowers. Good grief, yes. Thank you, Lila. Oh, I'm glad someone's paying attention because it's obviously not me. Oh, yowza. So, Ronnie, I did the background last. So, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit gold. Yeah, Dawn. Oh, we were talking about Dawn. Okay. Yeah, and that's where Maribel was talking about how she likes to do her background first. I like to do it last. Now, what I want you to notice about these centers of the flowers that I'm doing is I'm not filling it in with this brown. Or gold, excuse me. And yeah, I know. Lila says her eyesight's poor, but she's the first to notice. She and Wanda, that's right. Okay. All right. So now zoom in. Zoom in. So now I'm also going to take a little bit of darker brown. Because remember I just said that I didn't put that light gold everywhere. And I'm going to spot add that in the center. And that way we have our depth and our dimension. And notice when I put the marker down, I'm going ahead and smudging that a little bit with my finger. And so we've got the gold and the darker brown working together. Okay. Oh, Melissa, I was going to ask you, I noticed that you posted your piece in another group. Would you do me a favor and tag Dawn in it and myself as well? And then that way, if somebody's interested, and also if you can, now it just depends what your group allows, but mention the color, you know, like the color along or the dual color along with Dawn D. Boyer in Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. You know, just a little more description. And that way, if somebody wants to find the group, they can. It always helps, guys, when you guys tag us. Zoom out. There we go. Thanks, Lila. And I'm not going to color the background in the center because I think we've got enough. Sandra, what's post-vaccination? What happened? Oh, in meeting. Okay, Lila, I got you. Never mind. Don't type it. I got it. So yeah, Melissa, if you don't mind doing that, that would be great. Anybody have any questions about what I did here? So I've got a nice velvety background. No, Melissa, this picture that you would put in another group, and you talked about the duet color along. Just put enough reference in there if somebody wants to find us, they can. So I hope you like this. I think it turned out really well. I think Dawn's turned out beautifully. And oh my gosh, guys, what you guys did with this. Beautiful. Oh, that was in Dawn's group. Okay. Yeah, and she is perfectly okay with mentioning this group. Dawn has given us carte blanche to reference this group and things that are going on. So just edit that post and just say colored in a duet coloring with the author and ILene Vick in Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. Okay, guys. We're good to go on this piece. Yay! Okay. Did Maddie get back here too? Maddie, are you in here? So let's go ahead and play now with our young lady, our beautiful young lady. Maddie picked up a beautiful eyeshadow set that she posted, and it's got lots of browns in it, which is great for the skins. Let me grab a little water here. One day Jade Summer's going to get on your case. Okay. Oh, it was Lila with the eyeshadow. I'm sorry, Lila. So Lila got a hold of a really nice grouping of eyeshadow. Anybody have any questions how I'm doing this picture? So I got a little ahead of myself and I added the glitter on her arms and on her neckband. I will do the hair at some other point. Finish that. But if anybody has any questions, I need you to holler at me and let me know about this. Yeah, it was Amazon, Sandra. And by the way, Lila, thank you for putting up those dual postings in Amazon USA and Canada. Okay. So what I would like to see, guys, if you have eyeshadow and you're starting to use it, I'd like to see you guys start posting some pieces with African American skin. They were ordered pre-jail. Oh, yeah. Lila's in Amazon jail. Or should I say Richard jail? So how long is he going to keep you in there? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with a relatively dark coloring on the lips. Not dark, but ooh, that's a pretty color. So I've got an Arteza, and they call it a Spanish red. Likely until summer. Lila, are you kidding me? Zoom in. I mean, seriously, I know we've been kidding kidding you about all this and stuff. Seriously? He says you have enough stuff to keep you busy until you die. Okay. At which point you're going to send all your stuff to me then in one big huge package. A big truck's going to pull up to my house. Hi, Karen. Do you guys know that we had 17 people join our group one day? All from references. Okay. All right. So what you want is a nice, even application. I'm still talking to my potential Canadian publisher. And as soon as things are finalized with that, I will have some new artists to introduce to you. Fun. You said you told him that you're going to order something for your birthday in May. Okay. Yeah, and then that's the time that you order a boatload, right? Okay, so we had a break in the lips there. Zoom in. Zoom in. Okay. I'm serious, Lila. Save it all up for your birthday. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and blend this in. Da, da, da. Bennett Klein is putting out a new book this summer? Really? Did not know that. Is this just gossip or is this like true? Ah. Yeah, I'm on his friend list as well. Who are you talking to, Ronnie, about the 65? Who's turning 65? Okay, so now I'm going ahead and using a deeper color on the sides. Okay. Oh, Lila's turning 65 in May. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take just a little bit of white and we'll go ahead and highlight that lip. Zoom out. And there we go. We've got a nice lush color for the lips. And you want to go ahead and add that highlight. Just to give it a little bit of oomph. Excuse me. Zoom out. And now you can see how that white really highlights the lips and brings those out. Okay. And I got a little bit of red onto the skin, so now I'm just taking a light brown and I'm just going to cover that up. So no biggie on that. And notice now how that makeup is really making her pop. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to put a little bit of pink. Rita, Guatemala. Hi, Rita. How are you? Now, I'm going to go ahead and use my finger now to blend that in. And notice now, guys, remember, this is colored pencil over eyeshadow. Let me see how I want to turn this. Now, this is where tinting gets really important because you don't want to get stupid with the pink on any shade of skin that you're working on. So, zoom in, zoom in. So you want to work that very carefully. All right, now I've got it a little bit darker on this side, so I'm going to go ahead and mute that with a little bit of white. And that also is getting rid of that little bit of popcorn effect that I've got. Rita, so good to see you. So don't forget that another way to get rid of that popcorn effect is by putting white pencil over it. But of course, it just depends on the project. Pencil over marker, pencil over chalk, oil pastels, and now pencil over eyeshadows. Lila says she's going to faint. Yeah, it was mainly the marker over the pencil that everybody was having a heart attack about. Now, it's especially critical that you really want to get that blending in. Because if you blotch with this, ooh, not that one. If you blotch with this, it's not going to look good when you want a natural look. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Oh, let's see what we got here. And again, if you have little areas that the eyeshadow missed, you just go ahead and go back over that with your pencil. Now, it may take you a little bit to match it up. Excuse my hand, I don't like that color. So what I'm going to do is I'll erase it off and I'll fix it later. There we go. Actually, I better make later now. Yep, I will be smoothing out the forehead. Excuse my hand. Yeah, I still want to do a little shading on the face, so I'll come back to that. And if you notice that blotchiness, then you just go ahead and rub that out. Let's see, we got a little bit of dark over here to match this. There we go. And that'll be in the final tweaks, that if you notice something like that, like the forehead being a little blotchy, then you just want to go ahead and adjust it with your colors. Mm-hmm. Yep, it is looking better. Zoom out. Okay. And these eyeshadows do layer beautifully, so if you have a blotchiness problem, totally fixable. Like I said, I'm going to go back to that face and I'll tweak. Okay. Okay. Anybody have any questions so far? Now, I want to go ahead and smooth out the blush. Oops. And again, that'll be taken care of in my final tweaks on this. Okay. Now, one thing when you're doing blush and makeup on the African American skin, on darker skin, you really need to look at pictures for that, because there are certain shades that look really good. So for those of us who are not African American, we need to do a little bit of a study on what makeups look good. When you color Asian skin, you want to do a little bit of a study as to what colors look good. All right. So I'm still going to want to blend on that blush a little bit. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and work up the rest of the makeup, and then I can balance everything out. So think about it, that when you put your makeup on, you're doing a constant balancing act. And you're adjusting and checking and everything else that goes with it. So, same here. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do some nice brown eyes. And you know that whenever I do eyes, I do the darker color on the top. And then we'll go ahead and do the lighter color on the bottom. So I'm doing a combination here of a darker brown and a gold. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a nice brown over the eyes. Zoom in. And what I'll normally do is in the crease of the lid, I'll go ahead and do it a little bit darker because that's where your eyeshadow tends to accumulate. And then I'll add the the lighter eyeshadow outside of the eye. And notice how I'm putting it in a V formation. You don't want to go overly crazy with your eyeshadow. Anybody have any questions about that? Now, this eye here is at an angle, so you have to accommodate for that. As to where that peak is going to show up. Okay, there we go. Now, if you want to go ahead and add a little extra color underneath the eyes, go ahead and pop in a little bit brown. And I like to work from the outside of the eye in. Okay. And again, this is personal preference on how you put your eye makeup on. But this gives a really nice outline to the eyes. There we go. So now we have very expressive eyes on this young lady. Zoom out. Okay. And like I said, cheeks are looking a little blotchy, and I will, of course, fix that. All right. Oh, I'm glad you like your lips, Lila. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to check something on Google. And again, if you ever have a question about the way something looks, pop over to Google. Now, I don't want to put too many conflicting colors on this because we've got some really nice reds and purples and I don't want to draw away from that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple of my metallic colors . And make a little montage a little bit. So pearl, deep brown, and gold. Okay. So here's my gold. And my pearl deep brown. Yay. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and use a couple toothpicks to move these colors around. And I'm not even going to, let's see. So here's my little paint thingy dish. Now, we only have the one earring to do because of the way that her head is turned. So what I'll do is I'm literally going to paint with a toothpick, zoom in, zoom in. All right, so I'm going to start with my gold. And I'm just going to add that to the very top here where that earring goes into her ear. And again, I'm covering up the lines that the artist drew because you don't see what? Black lines around an object like this. Now, that's probably a little hoop. Yeah, I will. I'll do her new nose rings. Yep, exactly, Lila. And again, I'm just poking in the color. So this is a ring. So I'll color her braided hair through that. You know what? Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and color that gold as well. We'll go ahead and do that. I'm not going to mess with that hair. We'll just do that as a solid piece. And if you're ever doing something like this, it is perfectly okay to zoom in, zoom in. It is perfectly okay to make the object a little bit larger if it fits the purpose, especially if you are covering up the lines. There we go. All right. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and turn this. And my intention here is to go ahead and make the lines across the piece. Now, the really neat thing is, because I'm using the metallic paint, and because I'm using it without thinning it, it looks like chunky metal, and that's the effect that I wanted. And yes, I put glitter on the neck piece. All right. Now, I'm going to bring down that gold, the darker gold, just a little bit more because it runs into the base of where the earring piece is. And I want that distinguishing line. So that's why I did that. And again, because I'm poking at it, it's got that chunky look. Did you hear my answer, Lila? Yes, I put glitter on the neck piece. All right, so now I'm going to go with the lighter gold. And I'm going to do my next band. And again, you want to work out to your edges so that you've got a more realistic looking piece. Doesn't that look cool? Oop. Come on, focus. There we go. Zoom out. Now, the neat thing about doing the design this way is that we have all seen Africa with different streaks of color in it. So it brings back that thought. That is a very recognizable pattern. Gotta grab just a little more paint here. And the really neat thing is because this acrylic paint sets up the way it does, the colors will not run together. And if you need to go back and move that chunkiness down a little bit, there we go. Just tap it. There. Dun, dun. Now, I'm already planning ahead to end this with it'll be the light gold. Well, it'll end with the dark gold. Actually, I'm going to bring this dark down a little bit more, and I'm going to end it in the light gold. I think that will look good. There we go. Actually, I think I'm going to end it in the dark. I think that would, for width reasons. And then any areas that you feel that you need to do a little bit of touch up in, just pop back and do that. The acrylic paint fills out nicely. So if you feel that your band is a little too rough, just go ahead and just fill it out. And one little trick is when you've got your toothpick in an area like that, just turn it a little bit. Oh, that looks cool. Okay. I'll touch a little bit of gold right there and get that edge. Zoom out. All right, let me get my stuff out of the way here. Everybody see how cool that earring looks now? Now, the top part of that earring gets lost. So I'm going to take a little bit of my dark acrylic and I'm going to add, zoom in, I'm going to add the dark right here on top in this one spot. And the neat thing is, it just makes it look like it's complementing the design. There we go. Much better. All right. Zoom out. Now notice also how the earring picks up the eyes. There is a method to my madness. All right. And again, guys, if you start using a toothpick with your metallic paints, you will be amazed how adept you become at it. Now, I want a little bit of a smoother look on this particular piece. So I will go ahead and drag my toothpick a little more than I did on the earring. Gold stickles. Maybe on the hair ornaments, but not the nose ring or the ring up in the hair. I'm looking for the more traditional look on this stuff. We'll see. And again, I want the thicker look on this gold. And I've got a little bit of a white line around here. That's just where I didn't get the brown from when I was putting the skin tone on, so I'll fix that as well. Okay, so let me get a little bit more gold. Zoom in. And again, it's really neat, the detail work that you can use and do with the toothpicks. So I'm going to pull that color all the way to the edges. All right, now I got a little close to the nose there, so I'm going to go ahead and push that with my toothpick. Hopefully I don't get into the wet paint. There we go, and then we've got a gap, so you can see that gap now. And you still have a little window of opportunity to manipulate that paint. But I do want you to notice that I'm tapping it and not dragging. Cool. Zoom out. Zoom out. Okay. I'm going to grab a little water while you're looking at that as my voice cracks. Okay, so on the beads now, and I'll start with the ones below her hair. Is I'm going to use some dull reds and browns. Zoom in, because I want definitely a beaded look. Oh, why so many brick? I'm sorry, Ronnie. What's the reference, please? What brick is that, Ronnie? She must be private chatting with somebody. I don't know. I don't know what the oh, the Williamsburg. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to use let's see what I got here. The reds and the browns together here. And then I'm going to go with a darker brown yet. Let's see here what I got. Nope, not that one. Let's see. And I'll go ahead and complete that center part. Okay. And I think what I'm also going to do is I'm going to follow the pattern down. We've got so many colors and shapes and designs on this. That I want to have a little bit of a consistency on the beads. So I'll go ahead and pattern those the same so that we can have a really nice flow of that color. All right. And then I'll go ahead and carry that up to this bead. And of course, this is where you need to take into account how much of whatever color is showing. So I'm going to put the light brown on that left. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of dark brown in that teeny tiny spot. Zoom out. So now we've got the reds picking up the reds in the outfit. And then the really neat thing is, which you don't really realize is happening, but it is, remember when I put the brown in the hair? So guess what's happening when you're looking at the brown in the beads? Okay. Let's see how dry that acrylic is. Yeah, that's pretty dry. I always have to make sure so I don't get my hands into it. Okay. So now I've got these 4 larger beads over here. Let me go ahead and do a little bit of cleanup. zoom in, zoom in. So now I'm going to go ahead and basically same pattern over here. When you're doing African American designs, guys, you've got to be really careful with your color selections and how everything goes together. It may look jumbled, but it isn't. And so when you're doing African American design, you absolutely need to go to your internet and look how this stuff is working with the colors. Okay. Oh boy, our rainstorms are starting to happen in earnest. Oh, there are some major, major tornadoes moving through Alabama tonight and tomorrow. Okay, now, This one, same colors, different design. And you'll notice that I did not, oops, hold on, I want red. Actually, I don't, I want my medium brown. Yeah, I really feel for Alabama. They're in the brunt of it. East Tennessee is going to get hit. We're in West Tennessee. So we'll see what happens. Okay, now I've got the popcorn going on, so I'm going to go ahead and smooth that out real quick. And I feel like I've lost that darker brown, so we'll go ahead and pop that back on. Yeah, what's bad about these tornadoes too, that the newscasters were saying, is they're coming in at night, so, you know, nobody sees them. There we go. Zoom out. Zoom out. Okay, everybody see how cool those beads look? And then what I'm going to do is go with a completely different color on the smaller beads. Thank you, Melissa. Zoom in. Zoom in. So I'm going to go with this nice light blue. And again, this is where I'm tapping with where my marker is, because when I pick up my pen, it leaves a little puddle of color. I've talked about that a lot. And then I'm going to, whoops, I missed my little puddle right there. There we go. And then I've got a nice little turquoise blue that I'm going to hit on the edges with this. Now, you might wonder why the blue. Remember, I had some blue in my background. So I want to go ahead and pick that up. Now I've got a little bit too much blue on that top bead. I want to fix that edging a little bit. Yeah, just tap it with your eraser. And the neat part is that marker won't erase, so I can go ahead and just fix that shading that I did with the blue. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and speckle that bead. Zoom in. Can you guys see that? I'm just going to add a little bit of like blue marring speckle just to give it a little character. Zoom out. Zoom out. There we go. Now, zoom out. Those beads beautifully pick up that blue that I've got in the background, and that was the purpose of doing this. I'm just blending these beads a little bit better. Those edges were very sharp, the color. And I've talked about that before about, there we go, much better. Okay. Let me do something here. Zoom in. Now, I'm also going to pick up that blue on these beads as well. Now, I don't have the hair completely done. There's this light section here. Of course, I'll take care of that, so that'll look a lot better. But I just want some nice subtle colors. Oh yeah. Because we got so many colors going on, and I mean, I've got to work on the blouse yet for you. All right, so my acrylics are dry. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add just a little bit of shading on there, just a hint. Nothing spectacular. But I just want some subtle, low-key adornments, except for the gold earrings and the gold hoops. Look at that. Zoom out. Isn't that cool? Let me catch a little more water here. Okay. So, we've got some areas on the blouse that are looking a little rough. And this was a big area to blend. And sometimes that's going to happen. that you are going to get a few streak marks. And if you'll remember a while back, that happened when I did Wild Soul on the face. And I went ahead and I just took a pencil and I colored over it. So don't ever feel funny about having to do that. It happens. And the neat thing is, I'm adding another whole dimension of color now to the outfit because I'm coloring over that marker. So your eyes are seeing, well, your brain is seeing subtle shades of green. And that's where, if you're going to put my picture side by side with somebody else that does this picture and doesn't do this, you're going to notice a subtle difference and you won't know exactly why. And unfortunately, this is where a lot of people give up on markers, because they go to color something and they streak it and they don't know how to fix it. And then they say, oh, I don't like alcohol markers. I don't like water-based markers. Well, there are fixes to it, guys. All right, see the color difference now between the two sides here? Okay. And to do this, I'm using the side of my pencil instead of the point. And another little trick that I'm using is I'm also coloring in little circles. And then, of course, rubbing over that with my finger. Anybody have any questions about that while I'm doing this? Is this method a surprise to anybody? Although for people that are here with me consistently, they've seen me do this before. All right. Okay. Now we've got a really rich looking green tunic. Well, hi, Tammy. All right, everybody see how cool that's looking. Tammy, what's up with you? Okay, so now I'm going to take a very dark green, and I'm working with marker right now. And I'm going to go ahead and start shading these areas in between. And this is where we're going to get a really cool dimension on here. Zoom in. Everybody see now how that's starting to pick up here? And you can also see that it's pulling in a little bit, so that's where we're getting our dimension. So don't worry about the smear pulling off the marker off your line, because in this case we want that for the dimension on this. And again, notice how I'm basically doing it like immediately afterwards. zoom out. Well, glad to have you back, Tammy. My gosh. You going to be here tomorrow to watch Ruth Sanderson? Or talk to Ruth Sanderson? All right, everybody see now how we're getting all sorts of dimension on the folds of this? All right, now, I want you, whoops, as soon as I get the peg back here, I want you to look at the difference now between this side and this side. Isn't that phenomenal? So we've got a sweeping piece of cloth, and by simply running a marker over that seam, we're getting a really cool dimensional look on that. And if you have to go over it a couple times with your marker, that's fine too. And depending on how pronounced you want You just go over that line 2 or 3 times. And if you draw a line and you don't like it, then just wipe it away immediately. And you don't have to smear every time. You can dab, tap. All right, see that? And I'm going to go ahead and hit that outside line because why? We don't want that black, right? There you go. Zoom out. Okay. No, I did not have corned beef and cabbage tonight. Okay, now you guys can see how everything's coming together. And this is where, now, if you have areas, well, not quite yet because I've got a few more things I want to do. But if you've got some areas now that you want to correct or change or whatever, you can. Let's see here. Okay. And again, guys, this is where I admonish you, is you gotta quit giving up on your pieces. The whole complexity of this piece is changing in front of your eyes as I'm doing it. And I've proven that to you time after time after time. As I've been coloring. Zoom in. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and lightly blend this because we've got our popcorn showing up. Zoom out. Hi, Kim. Okay. Zoom in. Show Ronnie my blender pencil. Okay. It's the Prismacolor PC1077 colorless blender. And that's the pencil that you use to smooth out your colors on your page. Now, again, you'll notice that I colored all my pieces on her outfit the light green, the tinting. And now I'm going back and I'm adding all the little extras that I want to do to it. Not to mention that I laid out my basic green that I wanted. You're welcome, Lila. Okay. Okay. And then again, do not scrub with your blender pencil, folks. Now, everybody see how we're getting the depth and dimension on this piece. Of course, if I stayed on camera, you'll see it better, so let me adjust you. You hated blender pencils? Why? How are you using them? Okay. Now, this edge is still looking pretty ragged, so I want to go ahead and fix that. And the reason it looks ragged because the blending is not good. Between the dark and this light section. Oh, you pushed too hard on them and everything came out gray. Gotcha. They're not meant to scrub with. There we go. All right. Zoom out. And then we got this little bit up here. And again, zoom in. Notice how I'm doing the ragged lines. So that looks more natural. Now notice this is the sleeve where I went over the white edge with the Arteza. White pen. And so we've got a really natural looking piece here. We don't have black lines on top. And remember that I told you, if you've got a coloring book where your black tends to come up, thank you, Ronnie, then just blend down the color and avoid the black as much as you can. Okay, let's get that brushed off. Okay guys, and I'm about to go off air because it's 10 o'clock my time. Let's take a look. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. There you go. I just have to do the rest of her hair. And then I'm going to piddle around with a few adjustments, for example, the blush. And I think we're in pretty good shape with this. Oh, and I want to take care, I got to play with the chest here and get that colored accordingly because I don't have the definition that I want between the breasts. So we'll go ahead and get that taken care of as well. So the breast area, the rest of the hair, and then the blush marks. So I think we're in pretty good shape with this one. I might outline it in black, I don't know yet. We'll see. Anybody have any questions? And Lila, thanks again for the book. It made a great lesson. Lots of fun with this one. Okay, guys. This is ILene Vick for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. Joyous, joyous coloring. Zoom in. Zoom in. I'm so glad you could attend. And I hope you learned something from it. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow night then. Same time, same place. And we'll see what we can, oh, tomorrow. Yes, Ruth Sanderson. Hello. Tell your friends, guys. This is it. She will be here tomorrow. I'm so excited. All right, guys, take place. Take place. Take care. Oh, I love tripping over my words. All right, guys, take care. Bye.